Hi guys, it's that time of the year. I gave myself a little bit of grace this growing season because we were gone out of the country for pretty much the first part of 2024. And so I did not have time to seed start, to purchase all the different products that's needed, the different types of soils and things like that. And I think also before I left, I had already made the decision that I was going to plant in ground and versus having a lot of pots. I just felt like my backyard just felt very clustered and it was just really hard to maneuver. So this time I am going to limit myself and I'm actually going to start seeds in ground. And it's going to be very hard because I do have a big slug and roly-poly or pill bug issue. The way I'm going to start my seeds this year, I saw this and I thought, why not give it a try? People say it works. Is I'm just gonna go ahead and plant the seed in ground, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a plastic bottle. We have a lot of those. A plastic bottle. I'm gonna drill some holes on the top, and then I'm going to for some air to go through, and then I'm going to put that over the seed, and then that supposedly acts as a like a miniature greenhouse effect, so to speak. I'll let you know if that works. I'm going to try that out, and then for whatever plant doesn't work out, I am going to start seeds after I have the initial starting lineup, so to speak. Because I'm very limiting myself on the type of plants. And if all else fails, I'm just going to buy starters at the store. As part of my starting lineup, beans is one that I always have to have in my garden. And so I'm planting only bush beans this year. One is the Big Kahuna bush bean, and then also one is the Kitchen King bush bean. So these two I definitely am going to be planting here shortly. Tomatoes is really hard for me because I actually really love tomatoes, and I am going to focus myself on just tomatoes that we're going to use, and maybe one or two tomatoes that would like. So just to kind of give everybody kind of just what my starting game plan is, I think I'm only going to have like one or two of each of these plants. But I am going to focus more on the bigger tomatoes, those big slicing tomatoes, and maybe just have one plant that is a cherry tomato per se. So I picked up these seeds. I've never tried them before, but I want to definitely try this Ace 55. It's a semi-determinate tomato, and so it has low acidity, which this is why I purchased it, because I'm not really a fan of tomatoes with high acid. And then I'm also going to do a pineapple tomato, and this is an indeterminate, so I'm going to allow this to grow towards the back of where my garden is. And I am growing this because everyone says that this is such a great tomato. It's a must-have tomato every year. And so I want to go ahead and try that. Now, one tomato that I always grow every year, and I was really sad last year that it really did not grow for me. And this was actually the first year that it did not grow. It grew well for my mom, so I was able to have some, but that is the Kellogg's Breakfast tomato, and this is a super sweet tomato. It's really good. I can't explain. I love this tomato. It's super sweet. This is the type of tomato that I like to just slice and eat on bread or whatnot. And I'm not a raw tomato eater. But this one I definitely love. Not so much to cook, unless you want to add something that's a little sweet to it, but I definitely want that. And then I tried this last year. Again, all my tomatoes got mixed up. I don't know if I really went through, but I don't think I got anything. But this is the Bodacious hybrid. It's large, it's vibrant. And so I'm going to give this a go. I heard it's really good for sandwiches. It's an indeterminate. And I also want to try, my husband and I are really talking about like, let's start making our own pizzas instead of having to buy. And I really want a pizza oven so badly. Anyways, so I think I want to try that. And then actually it's not last. Last year my San Marzano sucked. And I would really like to be able to make my own pasta sauce or tomato sauce. I'm going to just try these. I'm still hesitant. And this is why I'm hesitating to say this, because I'm having only a limited space. So I don't know if I really want these in my garden this year. Maybe one plant from each of these packets. These seeds are from like 2021 and 2022. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I want to give it, I'm going to do at least one plant from each because I really want to make my own tomato sauce. And then last but not least, I definitely am going to keep this Berries Crazy Cherries because my aunt really loves them. And I want to make sure that I give that. And then they're really sweet, just like really snacking. You know what? Last year they weren't as sweet as it was the first year. It was probably because of all the rain that we got. Everything just like really soaked up, and the concentration of the tomato taste was really not there. If a plant dies or succumbs to mold or any other diseases, I'm going to go ahead and do starters for these two. Now this, I have a real big love-hate relationship with it because it produced really good tomatoes, nice sized tomatoes. However, it was like sporadic, like 1 or 2 tomatoes per plant, which I'm sure is not the case. And it just really like powdery mildew. It succumbed to that really easy. So I don't know. I'm going to give this a try as a backup plant. If anything, if my mom has additional space, I'm going to plant that in hers. And then also this Brandywine, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I always have some kind of Brandywine, but this year I just wanted other tomatoes. Now, in terms of squash, I did not have a good squash harvest plant whatsoever. I planted them, and each time the plant grew beautifully. Hardly had any zucchinis or any squash. This year, because I'm planting in ground, I am hoping that I will have a better outcome this year. I am going to try different varieties aside from zucchini. I'm going to do the Italian stripe, which I think I did try. No, it wasn't this one. And then also the gray zucchini I'm going to try. I heard this is very prolific, so that's why I want to go ahead and give this a try. I think my biggest obstacle in this garden that I'm planning for 2024 is pest pressure. I have so many slugs because it rains so much. I have so many slugs. I have so many pill bugs. And so that's why my winter garden was really my experiment to see if I could plant something. And when I got back, so literally I threw the seeds. I think I even vlogged it. I threw the seeds. It had a really slow start because I think it was just very rainy and very cold. And so what happened was, when I left, I saw the sprouts and everything, and I was like, okay, for sure those are going to die. The pests are going to eat them. I already saw slugs everywhere before we left. But then surprisingly, I came back to a full garden. And the slugs did eat a lot of the radishes, but they were the radishes like the Kellogg's Breakfast, the big globe ones, and really didn't touch any of my like pechay and things like that. I am contemplating if in between plants to plant like a radish or so to be kind of like the attracting attracting food, because it seemed like they didn't really touch any of the pet chai. They really focused on those radishes. So I'm gonna experiment. This is kind of my experimental garden this year. So but yeah, so I am definitely going to do one plant of each of these. So I'm limiting myself to one plant. And then also I wanted to have a yellow variety. I wasn't sure which one I was going to do. One of these is either going to be the early prolific or the cube of butter. Again, I really wanted to try these last year. I couldn't. The plant was there, but like I would even hand pollinate. That was the thing, is that I was hand pollinating these, but they were not growing. So a lot of times I think it was like the water, because it rained so much, especially in the beginning, that when I did hand pollinate, I don't know if it wiped out the pollen. That's that. Okay. A big portion of my garden is going to be peppers. I love peppers. Tomatoes and peppers are really my staple. I am going to give up on eggplants until I have a bigger place. I have a greenhouse to get things started with eggplants. And every time I try to grow eggplants, I probably get a handful of eggplants to harvest. But then, something happens and they're diseased, and they're small, but they're really hard. They're ripe, but they're really hard. There's a lot of seeds. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to focus more on plants that is going to produce me what we need and what we eat on a daily basis. And yeah. So this time around, I'm really going to focus on hotter peppers, because my husband is a hot pepper person, and every single time I plant something and they produce peppers, he's always complaining that they're not spicy. They're not spicy. They're not spicy. Well, this year he's going to get it. I'm just planting spicy peppers and a sprinkle of sweet peppers. So I got this white habanero pepper, so I'm going to plant this. I got this as a free pepper, which I also did. I will do a seed haul again. I did purchase some seeds because I am planning on planting the cayenne pepper, and I think I'll put an image here. But I do have a seed haul of the cayenne peppers that I did purchase just to restock. Hungarian wax. I am going to make space for this. This was a 2021 seed packet that I'm going to finish up. I will put starters for this as a backup. They did not grow very well, and this says it's sweet, so I am going to plant that. And then this, I'm going to just do, these are Bulgarian carrot chili. This is in 2019, and I don't think I've gotten a single plant from this packet, and it's almost gone, and so I'm going to give it a shot. I don't know. We'll see. It's spicy. Now, these are what my real starting five is. I don't know why those others were fresh. So, the habanero pepper for sure, I'm going to do. This Thai pepper, Thai hot pepper, I am going to do. This is a 2022 seed pack, so I want to finish up these seeds. I think I only have about three seeds in here. My husband loves Thai pepper. My Thai peppers grew, and they started producing when it was getting cold. So they grew, they started to produce peppers. It got too cold, and the peppers, instead of growing, they shriveled up because it just got way too cold. So that was unfortunate. It didn't start producing until December, which stinks. And then also I got another Thai chili hot, because again, one seed packet was 2022. This one was just last year, but I definitely just want to have backup in case the other seeds are not viable. This one I have been trying to grow for how many years now, since 2022. I heard this is a really good pepper. I have not had any peppers from this plant. So I'm going to try that to see if it's good. We'll see. I don't know if growing in ground is going to help this year. This is going to be my third growing season here. So let's see. And then the Santaka, it's supposedly a spicy. I am actually just growing this as a backup to the Thai chili in case that does not work out. And my husband wants something hot. And then also this chili de arbol pepper. So I heard this is really spicy, so I'm also going to try this. I'm really just trying to grow peppers that I know that my husband really likes. And then a sweet and spicy pepper that I'm going to grow, again, is a Jimmy Nardello. Supposedly this is prolific. I haven't had any experience on anything being prolific because, well, again, my situation that happened last year was not the greatest. I'm only growing one variety of cucumber. Last year was a huge disappointment. My cucumbers were prolific. However, the taste was extremely bitter. And I'm hoping that this year, because it's going to be in ground, it'll be better. But it was really disappointing because I like to make pickles, and my husband likes to make kimchi, cucumber kimchi. I don't know what that is actually called in Korean. But anyways, I'm going to grow just one. It's the Muncher cucumber, the one that doesn't have any spikes. And yeah, hopefully these work out where they're not bitter. Definitely going to have this year, I'm going to sprinkle throughout the garden, is this holy basil. Now, I am going to sprinkle this throughout the garden because I want a lot of it, because it is so good. As a tea, I can't believe I didn't try this before, but this holy basil as a tea, it's so good. And the aroma is so different. It's like fruity, but basil-y, I can't explain. So I'm going to actually grow a lot of these this season. And then I'm also going to sprinkle some other basil throughout. You know, I love a caprese salad. If I have tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, I want fresh basil. And last year I had to buy my basil, and I wasn't too happy about that. And I could not grow a basil for the life of me. And I even got a live plant from the grocery store and planted that, which did well. It did produce me basil towards the end. And I think I vlogged about that as well. However, the cold got to it as well, and it just wasn't the healthiest plant. And also, I just stuck it where I had a free space. So this time I'm actually making space for my basil this year. I'm also going to just do a mixture of that basil and then this also mammoth basil because, you know, why not? My daughter just like randomly started crying, like as if something really bad happened to her. And I think it's just because she didn't see where I was. And she's like, Mommy! And my husband and I ran to her thinking like something happened. She got hurt or what in the world? Anyways, detour. I actually need to buy more of these because I really love this ground cherry. It's very sweet and fruity flavor. And I made ground cherry jam with this, and it was so good. I'm sad that because it didn't produce a lot for me to make a big batch. It just made like a little small one. And I've been craving it again. So I am going to sprinkle a few plants of this. I actually need to purchase some more of these. Some more of these seeds, but this I'm definitely going to finish the pack. I do want 1 or 2 plants. I'm hoping that I can get that here in the garden. If you recall, I planted in pots. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plant a lot of my flowers. I want just flower beds of that. So I'm going to sprinkle some zinnia seeds there in those pots. And then I am going to plant in the corners of each of the corners to kind of get some, like if I needed something to sprawl upon, I will have that. So I had some really beautiful sunflowers last year, and I love sunflowers. So I'm going to make sure I grow a handful of these throughout the garden. So yeah, that is my garden this year. But yeah, this is my 2024 garden that I can't wait to get started, and I can't wait to share my garden with you guys. If you guys are gardening this year, I'd love to hear what you're growing. Leave a comment or message me. I would love to hear what you're growing this year. Thanks for watching. Bye.